My name is Josh Jenkins. This is my FTE 211 final assignment for SDI. So this is my week 8. Today is May 1st, 2024. It's been a ride. All right, for this last part for week 8, there was a few questions that were asked, and so we're going to go over that real quick. The first question was reflecting on my interactions with students and classmates, and any insights that I gained during these interactions. It was great. The interactions I had were great. I had no negative interactions with either the professor or any of my classmates. In fact, gained some good insights. Specifically, I have classmates that I've had, throughout the entire process, right? Like there's one person who I've seen this entire program, and now we've met back up at the end of all this. So it's been really nice to see their progress as well, and gaining from just watching, us both go, in tandem, and some of the insights and some of the learning that we've done together, and we both arrived at the same conclusions and the same, how we both got to the same ending goal point. And it was really cool to watch that throughout the entire process. The second question that is asked is to compare the guidance that we got from the test versus anything we see in the field. So this is an interesting question. So specifically around the 1911, during some of the work that I did, there's a couple of gunsmiths nearby. There's one up down Salisbury, down Tree of Liberty, and then he's actually the guy who owns it's actually a former SDI grad as well. And then there's a guy up in there's a place up in Winston called Atlas. So I've taken both my weapons. I've taken my 1911, talked to them about kind of some of the processes and kind of how they did things here, how they did things there, and it was interesting to see that while there were some little discrepancies, because the coursework is it is static, and unless it's changed every time, there are going to be some things that are how to do things better, and there's going to be things that are just not correct anymore. But that's fine. As an aggregate, 100%. As an aggregate, everything was pretty on par. I was able to confirm some ideas that I had that I got from the coursework with people that were in the field. So for the third part, the question is, and I'm gonna read this because it's really cool and it reminds me of my old man. When gunsmithing, is there only one way to skin a cat, or are there often multiple ways of completing or accomplishing a task? If there are multiple ways of accomplishing a gunsmithing work, are there fundamental principles that should be maintained at all times? So the answer to that question is yes. There are multiple ways to skin a cat. That's kind of one of the things that drew me to gunsmithing, is that I can arrive at the correct solution through multiple different paths, right? And so that's something that appeals to my nature, is that, I don't have to do it your way. I can do it this way. That is still very correct way to do it. It's just easier for me to understand and conceptualize. And some of the things that are always present in everything we do are, number one, safety. You've always got to be safe. Keep your weapon clear, keep your weapon live ammo away from your desk while you're working. But, there's always going to be the basics, ammo goes in a barrel, firing pin comes down, fires it out. That's the basics of it. And those are some things, I find that specifically when I'm working on guns, one of the things that I've noticed is if something's stuck, hit it with a little bit of WD-40, let it sit for a little bit, then grease it up with some CLP. That's going to solve a bunch of problems. There was a gun I was working on, a 308, that just would not cycle, and then I hit it with some WD-40, cleaned it off, and then hit it with some CLP, let it soak in CLP overnight, and it chewed through 300 rounds, never had a problem. The last question they ask is future education. So for me, more than likely what's going to happen is I'm going to take the Glock Armorers class, and then I'm going to take some SIG Armorers classes. I've already been looking into kind of how I'm going to do that, and how I'm going to make that work with my current day job versus my gunsmithing job right now. If SDI, if you're listening, if you guys decide to offer a bachelor's program, I'd be happy to take that as well. That would be some future education that I would enjoy as well.